Hi guys, Ethereal Awakening here doing individual zodiac sign readings. This one is for Virgo. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Check your North Node. And the energy today is just like, it's really great. It's a lot of the collective is waking up to that. Just wanting to feel the connectedness and wanting to be in that cosmic groove. And I'm feeling it as this cohesiveness, a connectedness. And I know there's still hurdles. I know there's still issues that we're trying to work through. So I'm trying my best to give out the readings that Spirit wants the collective to know. And this one is for the Virgo collective. Spirit, what messages do we have for Virgo? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus in the sign of Virgo. Spirit, what messages do we have for Virgo? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus in the sign of Virgo. One more time. Thank you, Spirit. All right. First two cards are current energy. Queen of Cups. The Lovers. And this is kind of along the lines of what I was speaking of. This is that emotional connectedness, recognizing that the union within creates the union without. So whatever you want to manifest, Virgo, whether it is a romantic relationship or new friends that see differently, you know, having friends that sit around and badmouth each other as jokes and stuff, that gets old. I know I get, tired of like overhearing people in friendships and stuff, bitch is this and like, just fuck you, like talking to each other boorishly. Like that gets old. You want a level of connectedness with your friends where you can maybe joke about something other than razzing each other all the time. Every once in a while, a playful razz is, but I mean, I hear this as just this norm, and I know that it gets old. So this right here is a longing for a connectedness. Again, from within, you can manifest it without. The Nine of Cups in your heart space with the Devil. This is a recognition of your overindulgence. That when we overindulge in friendships that are maybe lower frequency, that's what we get. We get more of that. What we put our attention into magnifies. So this is overindulgence, a heartfelt recognition of compulsive and overindulgent behaviors. Possible outcome, we have the Two of Swords. Excuse me when I reposition. And the Page of Cups. So, the block is this need for an apology. And who do you send this apology to? Yourself, Virgo. I mean, if you have to verbally say, I'm sorry, self. I remember in a meditation, one of my very profound meditations early on, because after a while they do get neutral. After meditating for some time, they'll become neutral. But in the initial stages, I mean, some profound messages were coming through. And one of the first ones was me walking in on myself, and I was crying, and I could feel my face looking at myself crying, like I was scared. I'd never cried that hard. I'd seen myself cry that hard. And I could feel this like shock on my face as I'm looking at myself crying like that on the floor. And I walked closer and I looked up at me and I said, I've been trying to tell you this whole time. And I picked myself up and I hugged myself and I said, I'm so sorry. And when I came out of the meditation, I realized how much self-abandonment I'd been doing all my life. I got a line of prophetic vision, this one into the past. So I got to see not all the times, but a snapshot of several times when my intuition told me, don't do that, or go do that. And I talked myself into or out of it, or I allowed someone else stop you. Come on, girl, let's go. It's okay. Whatever. Talking into or out of something that my God-given intuitive knowing said otherwise. That is self-abandonment. And this is exactly where this possible outcome, the block in it is the recognition that you have a level of forgiveness and learning about what those situations were teaching you, you owe to yourself. Underlying energy, Page of Pentacles, what did I just say? Owing it to yourself. This is a physical thing that you owe yourself. The Seven of Rods and the Knight of Pentacles. And what are this page and this Knight looking squarely at is that Seven of Rods. Your defensive nature. So anytime something triggers you, somebody speaks on a truth that rubs you the wrong way, whatever, you don't know, blah, 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 running your mouth, that defensive nature, that's exactly what the prompting is, both of them, the Knight and the Page. The Knight being battle ready, the Page being the apprentice, looking squarely at Virgo's defensiveness. So every time you feel triggered, whether it's a defensive trigger or a sad trigger, that is an opportunity for you to examine, how in this situation am I self-abandoning? How in this situation am I maybe not being honest with myself, not seeing this opportunity for forgiveness, for compassion, for a lesson in who I am? So we can remove this from our heart space. The prompting is to remove this. That is, there's huge block. The heart space needs healed. The mental space needs opened up. And we've got a Knight and a Page squarely looking at that defensive. So every time somebody triggers you, running away from it or shooting the messenger is only building up more of this overindulgence in your heart, where you feel like this is the only way, is to completely inundate myself with negative, devilish things. I don't watch the TV because I believe that there's a lot of the devilish things that come through there. The desensitization of violence is one of the huge devilish things that come through it. So I choose not to. I'm not naive to the fact that violence exists. I, however, will not allow myself to be inundated by a desensitization to it, which is what TV does. Your brain doesn't know the difference between somebody dying on the TV. The subconscious brain doesn't know the difference between someone dying on TV and it really happening. So when you see someone really dying, or, it's this shock and this loss and this whole traumatic event, instead of exactly looking at it for what it is. If it's a violent act that kills somebody, we need to address the core of what the violence is, not punish a bunch of people after the fact. That's not working. You can see as these crime rates and things are going up, that doesn't work. Mental illness goes up. We're not looking at the core issue. What's in this underlying energy? Two people looking directly at the core issue. This is a prompting, Virgo, for you to look at the core issue. And it's your avoidance of what those triggers are trying, and that defensive nature is trying to tell you about yourself. I'm going to pull an advice card from the Chapel of the Sacred Mirrors deck by Alex Gray. Spirit, what advice do we have for Virgo? Spirit, what advice do we have for Virgo? All right. The material world Beautiful card. Materia prima, beginning of the great work. Identity fused with lead in the alchemical flask of the body. Atoms form molecules, molecules form cells, cells form organs, organs form bodies. Our incarnation is miraculous and depends on billions of years of evolutionary biochemical problem solving, using the great good fortune of your birth to enter life as a path and realize your true nature. Energy, matter, space, and time, building blocks of empirical reality, deep-rooted fabric of the elements, blanketing our physical stratum of being, mother, womb, and tomb of temporality. Thou art a shadow theater, cast by the spiritual sun, and the reflection on foundation. So what foundation are you building on? You know, this current energy again is you wanting something deep and meaningful in your life. And you cannot have that outside of you until you recognize the foundation from within that you've built you on. This is it. These two physically looking directly at this defensive nature. That's a foundation. Squarely at you. You're the foundation. Where is your foundation? Are you aligned with love, light, positivity, creativity in everything you do? Don't cut corners here. This isn't a time to cut corners. Don't cut corners on yourself. Because then everybody externally will cut corners on you too. You cannot expect of others what you're not willing to do yourself. I hope this has helped, Virgo. See you next time.